What am I doing? I'm planting the most epic family garden. And that's what I'm putting at the top right here. You know, and I don't think you have to plan something out to it, just every detail. But you want to have a general layout so that when you get out there, you're just not completely lost, right? And so, I know this is north, south, west, and east. All right, so there's my sun. And why is that important? Well, that means I'm going to want to have the tall stuff in the back, right? So I'm going to have my tomatoes here. On my farm, we grow a lot of tomatoes, but they have to be in the family garden because the kids are going to love them. You know, they like to pick them and eat them right off the vine. Okay, and I'm going to have peas. And these are the sugar snap peas, which are the best, and my kids absolutely love them. And then I'm going to have pole beans here. Okay, so I split the bed because this, you know, we're gonna get so much, and you know, they're not gonna be there for ever. All right, then next to the tomatoes, I think chard, and the reason for that is I think it's gonna look really pretty there, and they are a bit tall. All right, then next to the chard, I think onions and shallot. And broad beans, right? You call them fava beans too, broad or fava beans. And they're great, and we're just going to grow them early in the season, and then they'll be gone. And under that, fennel. Now when you're drawing yours out, you want to draw out all your beds, and all of these are 30 inches. And the nice thing about a 30-inch bed is you can stand over it, you can kneel against it and still reach the other side. And a lot of tools fit really well in a 30-inch bed. And then for my paths, I decided on 14 inches, which is a nice comfortable space where you can kneel in, you can stand in. It's just a very comfortable width for a path, I think, is 14 inches. And then the length of each of these is 45 feet. So that means that each one of these beds, so what's nice about that is now when I do my fennel, I'm going to have 3 successions, right? So this will be the first planting, the second, and the third. And I'm going to do that for fennel, I'm going to do that for lettuce, I'm going to do that for radishes, things that grow quickly, and then I'm going to harvest all at once. The combination of those two. Tomatoes are in there for a very long time, chard is in there for a long time, onions are there for a long time. So they get a full 15-foot bed, and the chard I'll be harvesting all season. I may be harvesting the onions once, but they're going to be storage, so I don't need to harvest them fresh. Okay, so for my carrots, right? That'll be a full bed, right? So there'll be carrots planted, right, for the full width of the bed. And I'll probably save a few beds down here for some fall carrots. But for something like the radish, I'm going to do the same thing as I do with the fennel, and I'm going to split it into 5-foot chunks, and that'll be the first, second, and third seeding. And then what I can do is I can save this for further seedings of radish, right? And what might be nice is maybe even start a seeding of turnip here as well. And these are a special turnip. This is a salad turnip, which grows really, really fast, and it's just it's a wonderful vegetable. It's not like those really, really big waxy turnips you get at the grocery store. So for the radish, we'll have 4 successions, and then for the turnips, it would be nice to have a few successions for that, because they're very nice when they're small. But we don't need so much of them, so we need a very short space for them. Okay, and then I want to start some herbs, right? Nothing better than fresh herbs, right? To be able to cook and make everything taste wonderful. Fresh herbs are incredibly important. And these are the annual herbs, right? So these get planted this season and will live just for the season. So basil, and I'll throw some chives at the end of the bed. Then it'd be nice to have some cilantro. And again, cilantro has to be split into thirds. We'll do the first, we'll do the second, we'll do the third. And that'll be really nice. And now I gotta remember the biggest crop, which is lettuce. Lettuce takes up some space because I eat lettuce every day. The family eats lettuce every day. So this will be lettuce heads, right? This will be lettuce heads. All right, and then the family favorite, celeriac. Absolute wonderful. They'll take up the whole bed. It'll be there for the entire season. And the lettuce heads will just keep rotating around. And then we're gonna have beets. Okay, and beets I'm gonna, again, have a first, second, third planting. And I think let's do a bit more tomatoes. Okay, so you can see we have most of the crops in here. I think I forgot kohlrabi. That'll be first, second, and third again. And then I can leave a couple beds blank for some other things that come up, or if we don't have enough, I can fill those in. But I'm definitely going to have kale, and that'll be a whole bed. Okay, and that'll be probably Tuscan kale. That will be growing, which is easy to harvest the whole season, no problem, all the way into the fall. These are going to be split with cukes up here. We're going to have tomatoes and cukes, right? Because these are all the tall, right? So this is the tall crops, right, in the back. Then zucchini. And this should be done in at least 2 plantings. Right, so this is how a garden gets more complicated, is because you have these plantings that you have to do in succession to have a crop throughout the whole season, right? You know, radish, it's going to take 4 weeks. So the first week you plant this, then you plant here, then you plant here, and then you have a 4th planting here. And so by the time this one's ready, this one's being harvested. And so and then you just go back to here. And we could probably go around this a couple of times for the whole summer, going between all of these places. And every time we turn over this bed, we're going to refertilize it, get it ready again, and then replant. And then the same thing for the stuff we're planting. So we're just going to keep starting beets every couple of weeks, because beets are going to carry for longer. So we can harvest this bed for a couple of weeks, and then this one for a couple of weeks, and then this one for a couple of weeks. And then once we're here, then we can go back to this bed. And every time we harvest, we'll just replant from our seedlings. So the seedlings we're going to be doing all season, right? These will be the succession seedlings, right? They're going to be beets, fennel, right? Kohlrabi, cilantro, lettuce heads, and we're going to do a couple of zucchini. Right, and then we're going to have the one time. That's going to be your tomatoes, chard, onions, and that includes shallots, celeriac, kale. All right, so those would be our one-time crops. The one-time crops are the ones that are going to be planted once, and then we're going to either harvest at the end of the season and store them like onions, or we're going to be harvesting them throughout the whole season. And that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to harvest them so that you can have them the whole season. I'm going to show you how to keep replanting and how to continually harvest and then replant, and harvest and then replant, and how to keep everything as healthy as possible throughout that season so that you can be harvesting vegetables, you know, until the snow comes. All right, so we have our succession seedlings, our one-time seedlings, and then let's just put a list on here of what is direct seeded. And direct seeded, that just means that we're going to take them directly from the packet and put them in the soil. So direct seeded, we have carrots, radish, turnips, right? The dill will also be direct seeded, and that could be either way, but I think it's important to direct seed it in this instance. The snap peas, the pole beans, and now broad beans you can do either way. You can plant them or you can stick a seed in the ground. Either one works. The one reason you would want to use a transplant is because they really need cold weather, so getting them in early takes care of that. And that's it. So we have a direct seeded, succession seedlings, and our one-time seedlings. And this will change. As some stuff gets moved out, other things will get moved in, and that's why it doesn't have to be exact. This isn't written in stone. You can change it based on what happens, and I will be changing this. And then as the fall comes, we're going to start planting for the fall. We're going to be moving this around again, and as things open up, we'll put things in for the fall, for a nice fall harvest. Yeah, so good times.